Well, whoops, sorry. I don't find it insulting to say, what is it that I do, or, to grow up, because, I'm already at a point in my life where I'm not quite sure, if I feel like I want to do that or this, but, school is an option for me. I feel like, I could rush into things, and it's not to say, oh, I'm afraid and that, but it's just like, I enjoy what I do. And if you enjoy what you're doing, then what is that? And even if it takes me a while to do what I'm doing, then I'm okay with waiting. And I can step back and just let things be and just, go with the flow of obviously time and communities and everything. Because that's the way it is. And I was just thinking of, everyone has a different thought. It doesn't mean that things are certain to be that way or this. I think I just find uniqueness in each person, maybe. I mean, take for instance comics. And I mean, you can take for instance people who are comics. You can take for instance comic books and the uniqueness in each comic book and the time that is placed in each one. My friend Rocky is a comic book artist, spends time, and there's stories in them too, storytelling, and also zines. It's another, it's more than that though too. A zine is different than a comic book. But what I'm getting at here is, I don't think that things certainly matter for one person. Everything is like a collective. It's not just a one thing. And it's silly if people think it's just like a one sort of idea. Like, if people base everything off of what I say, it's really silly. There's plenty of other people out there. And to say things, I mean, I see things that are really like my way, I guess, because it's just the way I see things. But it's not like, obviously it's not like my way or the highway, I don't like that saying. I don't like it. How can a person talk without using the word I? I mean, to say we, I mean, who else is here? It's just me, you know? I can say me and you. That's kind of nice. So, I think there's just like a sort of talking, and just everything is talking. I mean, sometimes it's serious. And not to say sometimes it's serious. I mean, what I say is serious to me. When I express things, it is an expression. It is me. I don't have anywhere else to go for that. And to say to grow up kind of means like, where am I to go? Get a job, grow up, get out of here. I'm like, then like, be like the rest of us. Come over here, be like the rest of us. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd be happy that way either. I'm like, even if I'm like the rest of everyone, or what is the rest of everyone, or I think it's, I mean, I can't help but see things the way I do. Can't. And it makes me feel like, should I, do you want me to stop talking? Is it, but if I want to say something, that may sound stupid. You're like, then don't say it. But I mean, it's really nice. Just don't say it. It's not stupid then. Okay, just say it. I don't know what you're gonna say is gonna do something. Stop reaching for things. Then I'm gonna say it. I start seeing connections with what people say. Like, why are you doing this? You're doing. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, how can, like art renewal, like the idea of art renewal, like true aestheticism. That's what matters. That's important. it's down to each person. I just believe that it's the uniqueness in each person. I mean, I probably just say things wrong. It's not that I don't say things without thinking. I feel motivated with words, and I think that's true. But to create is to create. But I believe art renewal is so important because people just take things without putting any kind of thought into it. They just do things without thought. So to say, like, and I'll say, like, it's just me. And I guess, you know, you don't have to hear from me anymore. Because there's a sea out there. There's a sea out there of people. And an idea of facing a crowd is also important. And it's not, and it's never been about me. It's been about the ideas and ideals. But I'm just a vessel. People themselves are art. It doesn't mean that, like, I suppose. I believe avant-garde is dead. I don't believe, you know, true, the true paintings, you know, I don't mean like realistic realism, but the brush strokes and, you know, the you know, capturing the essence of the subject matter and the light and the shadows. Blending of colors. I mean, my favorite I like Rococo, but obviously you would know why. But you know, it's not the only it's not the only piece, you know, artistic period that I like, that I do like. I mean, Baroque furniture is beautiful. I mean, and to go back to comic books, take a look at X-Men. When it was created, think about why it was created. I mean, right now it's plain, yes, but I think it's important sometimes, you know, to, not sometimes, it's all the time. You know, that's comic books are still here, obviously, yes. But, you know, all art, all the time. And just because some people can't see beauty in some art doesn't mean that it's not worth anything. It doesn't mean to turn up your nose at it. I think now I'm gonna start connecting dots here. Because it's not about, this isn't about me, but this isn't about like Disney fairy tales. This is about Hans Christian Andersen, Grimm's fairy tales, stories that are written, folk tales from other countries and cultures. This is what this is about. Such as, like, Little Mermaid dies. It can become sea foam. The meaning behind it. You know, sometimes trust is not okay. Sometimes you have to use more sense. You need to wise up. Maybe it was also told to scare the daughters to not run off. I'm not sure. I will say I'm not sure. This isn't just me saying I'm not sure. Now I'll also say about, this has to do specifically with you, and you know who you are because I always talk to you. You've called yourself like a goose. Or geese. You know, if there's plural, but you're not. You said you're a goose. And I said myself that I'm a swan that's flown off. I've been called ugly. You brought up today, there's golden turd, and then about shining turds. But let's say you're really special, and you're the goose that laid the golden eggs, and Jack, which is you, because everyone knows you love Jack, climbs the beanstalk. To get a goose back from a giant, from a castle in the sky on a cloud. And that's just me thinking things, making things up. Not making things up, but this is just me making connections, how I see things, because I see things positively. Now this is just connected with you. Now with each person, I know I see different positive things. I suppose or I'll see however. But it's always going to be art. Well, I call it artivity because it's an action, because it's a processing of the mind sort of thing. And people can say it's like a mental illness. Maybe it's different. I believe that it hurts. And it's painful because sometimes it's just like, I don't know. But that's just you. This is you. You don't want me to see it or say it, then I already said it. I already see it and can't help it. Always make tea and it always talks about love. I don't know, where fortune cookies, this is like fortune cookie stuff. You know where fortune cookies originated from? San Francisco. I've been to the first fortune cookie making factory. I got a lot of like reject fortune cookie, like cookies in a bag from the factory. It was really neat seeing them made. I guess, obviously, I wish, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, what do I do with myself? What I wrote last night also, I believe people look for what they want to see. It's true. What I wrote last night, has to do with you. people want to look for revolutions. But the only type of revolution I want to see is like a revolution. People are like, oh darn. No. I mean, I can't help it if things come into my mind and it just like happens to be like this. And perhaps it's just, yeah, I mean, I think of neuroscience too, and perhaps it is like, a cognitive sort of thing. Because I think of that too. I'm being very conscious and aware of things. I'm not going to rule anything out. I'll keep a very open mind with things. I think it's good for people to dream. Obviously, it is very good. Is it miserable to dream? There's good and bad stuff to it, but there's just life. If you think good thoughts, I think it's just really good things that go on. If you keep trying and trying, I think that's good too. But this isn't just really what I think. This is just a general knowledge of information. It's just like a believing. Do you believe? I believe. I believe. I also believe in like a collective consciousness. But that's me. I also believe like communities. I believe, obviously in like, art groups and things. I believe there's groupings. There's always that. I mean, that's why there's the separations. There's separations of things. There's also connectedness. It's in art, it's in math, it's in science, it's in philosophies, it's in all that. But then, it's in religions. It's in everything. Does knowing this make me like a realized person? I don't know. People get annoyed with me easily enough. Kind of busy. But then there's also my medication that I'm still taking. And I don't know, that's having some sort of chemical impact on my mind. The longer I take it, I don't know. There's going to be some sort of side effect that's already had a side effect on me. Really, I guess that's all. I think it's just important to be positive. People think, but just be aware of both sides, like a coin. And I don't mean in a comic book with Batman being two-faced or anything, because you don't just flip a coin and say, okay, it's gonna be all negative or all positive, because it's free will and you have choices. Because if you love, everything in life will just be much easier. It's what I believe. I'm still gonna write, but nothing needs necessarily to be public, at least for a while. I'm not really not needed or anything. I'm joking. Are you really? People will see what they want to see. Like the whole idea of, this isn't a good example. This is mostly empty, but you can fill it up again as, just be conservative on this. Everything is gonna be seeing what you want to see, though. Really, just be careful. What you use. I'm just gonna drink tea because it's delicious. Oh yeah. Sometimes you just need a little inspiration, and I got inspiration from this little tea tag, which says love has no fear, and it says, and no vengeance. It's again another reference to Batman. The night. And then another reference to comics is Watchmen. And then I'm like a night watchman, security guard. What is guarding? But then owl, what does it see? Field mouse will run fast, but the owl sees in the dark. It's strength that only comes out at night. But the daylight is beautiful. It's just like things are words. There's so much more in life. It's just like, oh, what are you saying? I'm like, oh, you're so screwed up. You shouldn't even be alive. Like, I've taken notice. I can't say that though. I think that's